If there's a fat gilt, a fat young sow, and the boar's not there, well, we may turn this into a meat hunt. But it's a good chance we're going to kill a big boar. And I keep talking about the shot right behind the jaw. That's what I'm talking about right there, folks. That's a 223.
Welcome to A Sportsman's Life. We're so glad you tuned in to join us for another exciting real-world outdoor adventure right here on A Sportsman's Life.
Well, howdy, my friends. It's your old buddy Luke Clayton, and you and I are about to go hog hunting here in just a little bit. Now, I'm out here at my little cabin behind the house. See some deer antlers that I've had a long time, some of them from a year or two ago. Deer season's almost on us, but it's time to get some pork in the freezer. And I'm going to tell you about this hunt, which is gonna, if it works like I think it's going to work, it's a little different than what I usually do. I usually target meat hogs, 100 pounds, maybe 150 pound sow, but not great big boar. We're going after a big boar tonight. Now, my buddy that lives down the road's got a ranch down here about a mile from where we are right here at my house. The last two nights, I've been out of pocket and couldn't go over and hunt. The last two nights, he has had a boar 200 pounds plus. And regardless of what you might have read, or if you're not a serious hog hunter, a 200 pound truly wild boar is a big hog. It really is. I mean, I bet in my life I've only killed a handful of them. But it's a big hog. This thing may weigh 250 pounds. I don't know. I'm kind of pumped up and ready for this. But we're going to take the back straps. People that think big boar, you can't eat them, that's not always the case. So we're going to pull the back straps if we get lucky enough. Now, my friend said that he's watched this hog with thermal from a great distance. And it hadn't been disturbed 2 nights. He's been coming in about 9 o'clock. So I'm probably only going to have to set for an hour. Here's the way we're going to hunt. I've got a spot by a mesquite tree overlooking a feeder that's hanging up in a pecan tree. There's a pecan orchard out there, and the squirrels are knocking those green pecans down, so those hogs are coming in there anyway. That's why they're there. Of course, they know where my corn feeder is, so they're going to be in there eating corn. We're going to back my truck up about 65 yards by this mesquite tree. I'm going to put a swivel chair in the back of my truck. I've got some shooting sticks. I'm going to sit back there, sip a good ice cold green tea, and wait for that sounder of hogs. Now, my friend said that there's been about 15 smaller hogs, different sizes, and in this big boar 2 nights. So who knows if he comes out or if he doesn't. But what I'm going to try to do, when the hogs first come, a lot of times a little boar will hang back and then come in after the sounder is at a feeder. We'll probably be shooting them over corn. I'm going to try to wait a bit if he doesn't come in right away, but I'm not going to wait too long because you know that I like that wild pork. If there's a fat gilt, a fat young sow, and the boar's not there, well, we may turn this into a meat hunt. But it's a good chance we're going to kill a big boar. We're going to try anyway. Now, I've got my CVA. This is the varmint hunter, the Cascade. This is it's a 223. A lot of you say, oh, Luke's hunting with too small a caliber for a big boar. I'm not, trust me. If that hog comes in, we're going to shoot him broadside at 70 yards. It's going to be a standing shot. And this little 223 behind the ear is going to drop that hog like a bad habit, I promise you. A lot of confidence in this scope here. This is an ATN, the Thor. So we'll be able to hopefully I'm going to be able to film this through the scope, and then you can actually see the hunt. So tell you what, let's load up. It's a little bit early right now, but in about 15 minutes, let's jump in the truck, go over there and get set up, and wait and see what happens. So stick with me. This ought to be a lot of fun. Well, friends, here on A Sportsman's Life, we like to call this real world outdoors. Here's you some real world outdoors. This is where we're going to be hunting this evening. And this is the area right here where that big boar has been showing up the last couple of, actually the last 2 nights. Lots and lots of hog sign. It's hard to see through the viewfinder, but I see one big old hog track right there. You can see where they've been hitting this corn every night. And the kicker right here is these trees, these are pecan trees out here, friends. And these trees go on and on. They go way back down in here, all the way back to the slough, which is back behind that berm is a slough that runs for miles. So these hogs, they've been coming under the fence. Let me show you. Let me walk you over here and show you where they're coming in at. We might even get to see a big track here too. Oh yes. I see a couple. There is one big hog track right there. We're going to park that truck. I think we'll put the truck right back over here, put the swivel chair in it, back it up here where I can see, use my, I'm going to be using the that CVA Cascade, the Varmint Hunter, the shorter barrel model, have it topped with the ATN Thor thermal scope. We're going to have some fun. Hopefully I'll be able to show you a big old hog that we kill tonight. If not, I promise what I will show you, if we don't get a big one, we may wind up shooting a meat hog. You know how I like that wild pork. Well, friends, it's a pretty good sized boar. Hard to judge the weight on one, but I'm going to say this rascal's probably about 160 pounds, maybe, give or take, 10 pounds. Got some pretty good cutters on him. And I keep talking about the shot right behind the jaw. That's what I'm talking about right there, folks. That's a 223. Here's my hog gun right here. The CVA Cascade M223, the Varmint Hunter VH. Short barrel, ideal for packing around on a hog hunt or varmint hunt. And I have the ATN Thor 5 on here, which is an absolutely awesome thermal scope.
Brought to you by Dallas Safari Club, Conservation, Education, and Hunter Advocacy. Hornaday, accurate, deadly, dependable. Taurus Firearms, maker of the Raging Hunter. Stealth Vision, high-tech precision-driven equipment tailored for the modern hunter.
Well, hello my friends, it's your old buddy Luke Clayton, and this time we're going pond fishing. It's a little bit windy, and I have a feeling the audio is not going to be the best on this, but let's talk a little bit about catching fish in ponds. I'm going to show you where we're fishing here. It's a spring-fed pond, and it's got bass in it. I fished it through the years quite often. Right now, brim, or sunfish are the predominant bait fish that these fish are feeding on, these bass now. So a lot of people, when they're pond fishing, they want to throw out in the middle of the pond. Well, there might be some fish out there, but most of them are along the shoreline, cover, largemouth bass we're talking about. So I'm going to show you, we're going to be fishing a spot here that's close to deep water. Is probably 30 yards out there, and there's a lot of logs and laydowns along the shore. We're going to try to throw out parallel with the bank and work our baits back along it and see what we can catch. Now for baits, since perch, I call them perch, sunfish are the primary fish that they're feeding on, and it's fall and fish are active. Bass they know that cold weather's coming, so we're going to be using little rattle traps. I've got a bigger version of a rattle trap, but this one here has got the color of a sunfish. So we're going to try to do that, see what we catch. I'm not trying to take over Bill Dance's job, by the way. Although I used to rent or help my uncle service boats that Bill started fishing with down at Horseshoe Lake back in the 60s. I was a teenager, and I'd go down there and work through the summer. Well, Bill, I didn't know, nobody knew who Bill Dance was. Many people didn't. He was just getting started, but my uncle would loan him boats, rental boats. Horseshoe Lake at Camp Carefree. Now there's a story for you. We'll talk about that again another time. But that's in Hughes, Arkansas, right out of about 25 miles from Memphis. But that's where Bill Dance started some of his bass training anyway. And later I connected with Bill when I was in my 20s. He called me up, saw my name somewhere in the Dallas Morning News or something, and I've got hours and hours of radio recorded with Mr. Dance. Okay, you already figured it out. I'm not Bill Dance. Let's see if we can catch a bass. What do you say? But friends, there's a lot of cover here on this side of this pond. You can't really see it, but there's a submerged log right out there, bunch of brush underwater, and here in the water is a ton of bait fish. The wind, if you look out, the wind's blowing into this bank, and right out there, just a matter of 30 feet, is some water that's deep, and this is real shallow. So let's make a few casts, see what we might catch. Now I made a cast actually out in the middle, but I'm going to try to work it back just along the edge. We might get a strike right here. Crank and pause, crank and pause. No hit that time. Okay. See what we come up with here, friends. It is the middle of the day, but I still think we're going to be able to catch some fish. On a rattle trap, I've had a lot of luck fishing farm ponds, in lakes really. Crank it and stop, and they hit it on the pause a lot of times. Okay. Let's try that right here. Feel good about this cast. I'm going to work it over close to some brush. See what we might hook up with. Friends, I'm going to go with the next size bigger rattle trap. Let me get up here and tie one on. I think we need a little bit more flash in the water. I bet there's a big old bass hanging right in here. There he is. Oh! Right here, and all the strikes are coming within 10 feet of the bank. We'll catch one here in a minute. There he is. There's a nice chunky little bass. This was the 5th strike that I got, folks. This is not a big bass. There he is. See if we can catch some more. Try to get one about 3 times that big. Oh, there's a good one. There is a really good nice bass. Oh yes. About a 2-pounder. Very nice bass. Get him unhooked. I requested a 3-pounder, but he'll have to do. That's probably 1.5 pounds. Let him go. We'll catch us another one. Okay, let's try another little shady spot just behind us, about 50 yards. What do you say, folks? Okay, friends, we are back to the spot that we were actually caught a bunch on a little bit earlier. Let's try this rattle trap. I fished this with a worm heavily a while ago, no bites. Let's see if a rattle trap might be the ticket right here. The key here is not to get hung up. Look at all this brush above head. So you got to watch your back cast. What happens here? Maybe we can catch a bass on this rattle trap. We know they were hitting them. Okay, let's make this cast right here. Oh, good gosh. Oh, did you see that, folks? That was a big bass, and when I was talking to you, I should have been paying attention, right? No, that was a hard strike. Let's see if he might be back out there. He hit that like a ton of rocks, ton of lead. So we may be in some fish right now. Okay, this cast is exactly where that one was. That fish hit it hard. I think I actually threw the bait right on top of him. The last cast of the day, my friends. We're going to see what happens. Nothing's happened so far on this last post front fishing outing here. Okay, I'm going to concede to the fact that they aren't biting, and since I'm not far from home, I can come back when they are. But at least we caught a few bass pre-cold front, like 4 hours ago. But we tried worms, plastic worms, and we also tried the rattle trap. They're not biting, friends. One was, but we didn't catch him. Hope you enjoyed it, friends. On to the rest of the show.
A Sportsman's Life is also brought to you by Mossberg, American built, American strong. The YO Steakhouse, Catch and Release Apparel, Pyramid Air, your one-stop shop for everything air guns.
Hello sports fans, it's Bill, the old man at Striper Express, with your fishing tip this week on Sportsman's Life. We're going to talk about hook extraction. When I got it for years, I had everybody fish off the starboard side, one direction. Whichever side you do it, don't do this, windshield wipers. We got a saying, hook's in the fish, not the fisherman. Take a look and I'll explain what we're going to do here. Now that was pretty rough, but it came out real easy. We've got a way of doing it with the monofilament and pulling the hook backwards. But this one in the situation, it was just easier to push it on through and clip it. Let's talk about cutting. These are old steel side cutters, dikes. That's about as small a pair as you want to use. Do not expect these to cut a hook out of somebody. A good pair of needle nose, I don't think you can still get the leverage. You need good old steel, probably longer handle. So what you do is just gotta force that hook through, clip it, and bring it on out. So hooks in the fish, not the fisherman. Watch what you're doing. No 5-foot leaders, no sidearm. 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. There's your fishing tip this week. Go catch a fish.
If you want to learn more about Vineyard Max and the other products they have, go to www.vineyardmax.net.
When the opportunity presents itself for a spot and stalk on some hogs, remember a few things. Number one, play the wind. If the wind is not blowing from the hogs to you, don't attempt this spot and stalk because they'll bust you every time. It's critical that you approach very, very slowly, move very slowly. A lot of people say hogs have poor eyesight. I disagree. I think they see pretty well. Move super slow. Get into position by using trees and brush as cover. Sometimes the hogs will spot you, or they'll spot something. They'll run off, and they'll stand for a few minutes looking back, and they'll make a decision whether they want to come back and feed or leave. Depends upon how they're spooked. As you can see here, I move very, very slowly, and of course, the hogs did return. Now it's a matter of getting myself into position to make a shot. I can't think of a more heart-pounding, exciting hunt than a spot and stalk on an animal. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Folks, this segment was brought to us by Gearhead Archery, Smoke in Tex Electric Smokers, Snaplock Hunting Blinds, YO Ranch Headquarters, Ultramatic Feeders, and Catfish Pro. Tune in next week for some more real-world outdoor adventures right here on A Sportsman's Life.